Hi guys, welcome back. We are on episode 6 of the Well Balanced series, and today I'm talking with Jessica Hodge, Jess Hodge, and it's going to be all about her fertility journey and birth control and just women's health in general. So I'm going to add her in here and we're going to get started. It's going to be great. So give me 1 second. It's been a minute since I've done this. There we go.
Hello.
Hi.
There's my face. I'm standing. I've been sitting all day, so I'm like, where's my head?
Yeah,
There I am. All right, here we go. There you go. Welcome to your first live. How's it feel?
amazing. My heart's racing a little bit.
No, you're so good. It's funny because like I've done a few of these with women who've never done them, and I'm like, I mean, I guess maybe I don't know. I just love meeting people
Yeah,
face to face, and then really having that personality, and I just think it's awesome. So
yeah,
look at this. We got a crowd today.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
No pressure, no pressure. Um, no, so it's funny for those listening, Jess and I have never met, but we connected because we're both doing the Nutritional Therapy Association slash NTP program right now. I don't even know how I found you. I think it was just some random
I
tag, and then
yeah,
you
they
messaged me.
yes, they reposted something about you studying and your notes were so organized. I was like, oh, I need to ask her what she's doing. And then the rest is history.
That's it. That's it. And that's it. So if you guys are considering the NTP program, we
Oh
would
my God.
love to chat about it. It's great. It's fabulous. Um, Anyways, so this is just a conversation. I want to get like all the facts on you. I just want to get a little more on your journey too. And then we just kind of shoot it, we just kind of flow as we need to. And if people have questions and they want to ask specifically anything about your journey or just the conversation that we're having, we'll tag you as well in the caption.
Awesome.
But yeah, so we'll start off with an intro, just like about you, where you at, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is great. Honestly, when I think of this as like you're sitting across the table from me, that's what we're doing here.
literally, it's super chill. Ignore anyone else. We're hanging. We're
Yeah.
hanging.
So, man, I think I'll kind of try to share my story in a nutshell and how I've landed here today. Um, it kind of two things collide here. It's kind of like period health and food issues. So, and they collide really well, honestly, and they totally work together. Back in high school, I did get on birth control because it was just so normal and common. Everybody was doing it, totally fine. Didn't know anything about it. Didn't know any uh, good things, bad things. Literally, just like, sure, I'll get on the pill. And I didn't have any really negative side effects. And so I just went through life on it. I was on it for like probably 8-ish years. And then, so through high school, I was super into sports, loved soccer, running, all this stuff. And fast forward to college, I played soccer in college, and I had played soccer my whole life since I was 5. And I quit halfway through my career. And I think there was this shift of identity of like, what am I doing? And then enter in food issues. So like I didn't have a lot of restrictive issues or anything like that growing up. I do come from a family where my mom has gone through eating disorders. So like I knew about it, but I was always like, thank goodness it hasn't affected me, whatever. Well, it did. So once I quit soccer, I think, as I still reflect, because who knows what that switch is. That's like, I'm going to control my body with food and exercise.
Right.
A lot of it also has to do just with our culture and with media and that huge influence. So I got really restrictive, tried to get as thin as possible, and I was still on the pill. So kind of like in the depths of, I wasn't getting a period naturally. I also was not helping my body at all because I was not giving it adequate nutrients. I was exercising like crazy, um, running every day for the wrong reasons because I do love running, but it was not a healthy relationship. And then fast forward several years, I get married, life is good, everything's fine. I still do not have a healthy relationship with food. And I get off the pill because we want to start a family. That's always my dream. My dream is to stay at home. And that is what I do. I have 2 babies. We'll get to that. So get off the pill and I don't get a period. I just stop cold turkey. I'm like, well, sweet. I'm going to get off this and we're going to have babies. It's going to be perfect.
Simple. Done.
And a couple months goes by, a few months go by, 6 months go by. And, Google says, if it's been 6 months, check with your doctor. So I called my doctor 6 months. I was like, hey, I haven't got my period yet. And so they got me in there. They said, okay, yeah, this can be common. It can take several more months. I was like, oh my gosh, the waiting is already beginning. So I still wait a few more months, no period, go back in. I get diagnosed with PCOS. And there's 3 criterias for PCOS, and you have to have 2 out of the 3 to be considered diagnosed with PCOS. And mine were, I had an ultrasound done, and I did have cysts on my ovaries and missing period. So check, you have PCOS. No other questioning about my history of eating, no other tests done. And I was just like, okay, I have PCOS. This is my life. This sucks. It's really common though, so I'll figure it out. Kind of was like accepting that fact. And also kind of forwarding through, we do have 2 healthy, beautiful children. I had to take medication. I never got my period still. I went on medication and I'm so thankful. I wouldn't trade that experience for the world because here I am today and I have Hayden and Josie. So lots of waiting, having a miscarriage in the midst of that, lots of pain that way. My story just has to do with a lot of waiting and not really knowing what's going on. After Josie, who's now about 18 months, whatever in me, she's so cute. I was just like, you know what? I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just like God was putting it on my heart or it was just, it's my gut. I was like, I'm going to see what else I could do. Even to this day, even though I have a huge mind shift of food and health and healing, I'm not against getting back on medication. Like I don't ex-nay that. But boy, have I seen a lot of growth. So after Josie and after I was done nursing, because we know that really does a lot to your hormones, I came across this girl. Instagram is such an interesting place, isn't it? Like
it is. I've met some crazy awesome people on Instagram though.
So it's funny because the way I found her was one of my friends from college, Rachel Bedell, if she's here. She reposted something of hers on Thanksgiving. Like, I guess it must have been last year. That had to do with like, don't restrict your morning calories just because you're going to eat lunch. And I was like, that's what I've been doing for the past decade. Thank you. And so then I binged her whole page and I was like, wow, what's an NTP? And went through that. And I've always, side note of all that I've been saying, I'm obsessed with food. Love to cook. I live in my kitchen.
Yeah, your sourdough? Like, what? I mean, I was trying to look through your highlights and be like, yeah, I can do this. And no, I probably won't attempt it anytime soon, but it looks great.
Yeah, see, I just love that stuff. So I used to teach elementary school, loved it, loved the kids and the relationships, but like my passion is kind of with food and health and overcoming kind of like what I've been going through. So anyways, I contact her, we have a conversation, we have a consultation meeting, and I'm like, yeah, I'm working with you. And she gives me a protocol to follow, and just kind of shares the foundations of NTA and what the health foundations are of that, which is really simple, honestly. It's just not prioritized in a lot of people's journeys. And within 3 months, I got my period. And then within the next 3 months, I ovulated, I got pregnant, and then I recently have gone through a miscarriage. So it's like, well, that sucks so much. And I've had moments of imposter syndrome, and I'm like, what am I doing? Obviously, something's not right. It really, that kind of can overshadow all the progress that has happened over the last 9 months, almost a year, and how much I do truly believe in what this program has to offer and what nutritional therapy is. So it's just funny how quickly I signed up. I mean, I hear people say like, oh, it took me 5 years to really finally jump in, or I, was on the fence for this long. And it took me like 2 months. I felt so strongly that this is something I needed to do. And luckily it is hard at home with kids, but I have a really supportive husband and just family in town.
Yeah.
Where I can, if I really feel like I'm drowning, I can create space, and it's something I can kind of do alongside. And
well, it's great because it's very self-paced, and like they give you good deadlines. Like it's
yeah,
very like there's so many moms in my class too, and I'm like, how do you have 4 to 5 kids like doing this? And I just think it's so awesome because you still need something for yourself, right? You can't, being a stay-at-home mom, I commend them and I love, and I want to be the same. I'm not a mom yet, but that was how my mom was. And it was just, it's a full-time job. It is. And it's
yes,
a very insanely awesome job and rewarding. But it's like having something for you and having something that challenges you and grows you, that doesn't take you away necessarily in both senses, but it's good. And I love that you're doing it. So I think it's awesome.
yeah. Oh, I love it too. And I just, even though it can get stressful, it's like I look forward to it, and I keep thinking about all this hard work we're doing right now to learn about it, and just like what's going to harvest in a
Right.
year. So that's what
Yes, I know. I'm like, wait, I want to be this. I want to do this. And I'm like, I can't do that yet. I was looking through some old files of like where I had saved programs because I started out as a trainer. And so I was doing more of like the personal training side of things and working there. But I'd always wanted to do more. And so I went and got certified as a health coach. But like, that was just like, it was good. But it was like, yeah, there's not much you can do. And it didn't feel fruitful, right?
yeah.
So then I had like looked up and I was like looking at my like resources saved program list, and like NTP was there like 4 times. And I was like, all right, like as soon as it came back in my life, I committed right away. So it's just
Yeah,
one of those things, and I finally feel at peace with like what I'm supposed to do in life. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It just feels
yeah.
good.
It's such a gift. I love
Yes,
it. And
it is.
what's amazing too is like going on this journey and going through it, my mind shift has totally changed about how food was created for us. And when you utilize it correctly and fully abundantly nourish your body, like not only, yeah, did I get my period back and start ovulating, but like so many other health markers that I didn't even know were red flags in my body, like always cold hands and feet. That's, well,
Mm-hmm.
your metabolism is sluggish, or that's like a low thyroid functioning, whatever, sign, or thinning hair, or waking up in the middle of the night. Like I thought that was just like totally normal. Obviously, kids.
Yeah, like going bathroom. Okay.
Yeah, it's just amazing how much better I feel at like almost 30 compared to in a decade ago.
It's funny that you were saying too in the beginning, like about soccer and everything, and it's just so many women we get so caught up with like, again, the thinness, this intense exercise. And even for me, I had shared a little bit about yesterday, it was just I started at Orange Theory and love the workouts, but I was getting up for a 5 a.m. coaching class, and I had to be there by 4:30 in the morning. And so I was getting up at like 3:45, and then I had to do the class. And then I was like, oh, I'm already here. I might as well do the workout because everyone else is doing it, right? And you got to get your workout in. So then you'd hop into like a 8:30 a.m. class after teaching for 3 hours, and then you'd go home and then take a nap, and then you'd be so tired, and then you want to go out and be social. And I was like, what is happening? I was getting sick so often, and I was just like, this is not right, right? And it's just sometimes taking that step back and being like, no, and evaluating it. And I think just is asking yourself why. And I don't think enough people do that. I think they just suppress the feelings or they normalize them, which is very common. And even like with doctors, you'll get answers, but you'll be like, they'll leave you hanging, but there's more to it, but it's going to take some effort and, motivation to get the answers you need. So I think I see the light of like where health is going, and I am really excited about it because the functional medicine root cause approach has always been something I'm very interested in. But it's so cool meeting and connecting with so many other women who want to do the same thing.
Yes.
So I want to ask you like specifically, like with your specific experience with your not having a period and everything like that. So like, what did you believe before that versus working with the practitioner that you ended up implementing that was like almost a game changer? Like what were some of those things in those 3 months that you had changed and or
Yeah.
maybe like had believed initially and all that?
Well, I believed that this is how my body was, and it was stuck that way. Like I thought it would be forever. Um, Always have PCOS, always just kind of have an infertility journey, which who knows, it still might be like that. We only have so much control. And kind of believed I was trying to be as healthy as I could and what I thought was being healthy, because we do want to support our whatever we're going through, like we can support it through diet, lifestyle changes. But the ones I was doing were pretty wrong. So I think a lot of it was like, at least I was kind of on the upper scale of what I thought calories should be, which is like 1800. I think 1800 calories, like pretty good. And I never really tracked that much after college. So I was just trying to always like eat pretty well, eat enough, but I bet you I never went over 2000 calories. Everything was dairy is bad. Alternatives are like the holy grail. Eat eat lean meat. Eat as many vegetables as possible. Like if you're going to a party and I'm trying to be really healthy and on track, I'm going to fill up on veggies before I go, which is like, I say this with caution because there are times where that might be necessary. Everyone's so individual. We know that. But for me, it was not a healthy mindset. Like, awesome to get some extra vitamins and minerals in from veggies, but I was not doing it for that reason. I was doing it so that I wouldn't eat cake or all that, binge on.
It's like that good and bad mindset, right? That's so ingrained in us. And it's like, even clients that will do our program, they'll be like, oh, wait, so can I have this? Is it bad? And I'm like, nothing's bad.
Yeah.
Everything's good. We just have to find the balance. And it's just like, you go to the party and you maybe eat some protein first and then you work your way through. But like, again, one day or one meal or one party isn't going to ruin your life.
Yeah.
It's the things you're doing over and over again
that
we want to focus on necessarily.
Yeah. My disordered eating in college was so bad that I think it's just taken so much time to unravel that. Like it's been, whatever many years that is, like 6 years, 7 years, because I literally like wrote out a list. Like on paper, I wrote out foods I can eat, foods I can't eat. I kind of cut everything in half and was trying to eat as few calories as possible. So it's hard to unlearn all of that, and it takes a long time. So I think once I started working with my practitioner, Kelsey Campbell, Buns and Balance, everybody probably knows about her because I repost her stuff literally every day.
Love it.
Not only was she just such a good listener, and because I was worried that whatever she was going to tell me to do, I'd kind of fall back in that habit of like, okay, exactly what she says, and I'm not going to go out of that. But it's not like that at all, because everything is, besides reducing polyunsaturated fats in our diet, which technically that's like processed food. Everybody's going to feel better if they don't eat as much processed food. Besides that, it's all about adding. Everything is about adding. And so she specifically was like, you need more fat. And what does our culture think? Fat makes us fat. So that was like, okay. And I thought I was eating enough fat, but I was literally like, I'd probably stop at like half of an avocado a day.
So were you eating like healthy fats like that you'd eat now, just not as many, or were you like kind of still, having some of the other saturated fats, like, or like canola oil and things like that?
I definitely already had shifted out of polyunsaturated fats for like cooking. I was using butter and olive oil, coconut oil, but I think a lot of it had to do with, honestly, my biggest shift was how I bought my dairy and what I consumed, because I was still getting like some low fat Greek yogurt and was not drinking milk. And it's not like I drink milk by the glass, but that's what I use for my smoothies. I drink it at night. So I think what it had to do with was that I was just eating more of it, like so much more.
Yeah.
And a lot of it had to do with blood sugar regulation. So, and as a mom, it's so hard to like be really consistent, eat every 2 to 3 hours because you're feeding your children and then like a spill happens and then there's a blowout and then you have to put laundry in and then you're like, oh my gosh, it's been 4 hours since I've eaten last. So, life happens. But I've always been someone that does, like I said, I love to cook. So I'm pretty good about having food in my home and prepping, batch cooking. And I care, like I will take the time to cook rather than drive through like McDonald's or something. Like,
Yeah.
so that was a huge game changer. Was just making sure I had a protein, carb, and fat at every single meal, every snack and meal, and then having something before bed. So that was something I totally had ingrained because a huge part of my journey was I couldn't go a day without like snacking at night and like binging. It wasn't like an intense binge episode, but like for sure raiding the pantry, eating popcorn, but that didn't fill me up. So now I'm eating out of the ice cream and now I need something salty again. So then having chips. Oh, it's so exhausting thinking about it. And all it is because I wasn't eating enough.
And so many people relate to that though.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
and exactly. It's the principles, it's the foundation.
Yep, the foundation of eating nutrients throughout the day and eating so much. So that was huge. And then the last thing that was kind of like a red flag was I was training for a marathon, which, like I said, I love running, but I was just putting so much stress on my body, waking up at 4:30 to get my run in, not anything beforehand, having some sort of caffeine before. So I was always having coffee or some sort of pre-workout on an empty stomach, which it all felt fine. And I was like running fast and doing well. But obviously parts of my body were shutting down, like my reproductive system. So it's kind of like, okay, when I was done with that, because I signed up for it, so I'm going to stick to it and I'm going to do my best because that's competitive.
That's who you are.
Yeah. I was like, I'm going to take this seriously. So I legit, not only because it's a marathon, I took off 2 weeks of no exercise because I'd do that anyways. But then I'd hop right back into it. I didn't. I like worked out maybe 2 to 3 times a week and it was strength, and which like that is just so different from my habits of exercise. And it was so hard at first because, and you probably could talk into this because I just am not a fitness professional, because it is so important. Exercise is so important. But for me, it was getting to a point where if I don't work out, I think I'm more stressed. I'm not a good mom. All these things happen, which I don't think is healthy. That's not a healthy relationship with exercise if I'm prioritizing it over food or over family or over something else.
Right.
And so at first it was really hard to let go of that. But then I noticed, probably just intentionally saying, nope, I'm not going to get up and work out. I'm going to rest. There was a shift in how much less stressed I felt. Like the fact that I didn't have to set my alarm for 4 a.m. I was sleeping way better. I didn't have to worry about, making sure I had something prepped and ready to go afterwards, which if that's what you're doing, that is really important.
Yeah.
But it's just like so much more space was created for me to just be and to let my body heal, which is what I needed from the past decade of my body not knowing how to have a period. So yeah, it's individual because I'm not going to say that's what everybody should be doing, but that is definitely my experience. And now that I've kind of found like a really good spot with how I feel like my metabolism's doing, my hunger, my energy, it all feels really good. So now I'm like, okay, I'm ready to get more workouts in. Like,
yeah, exactly. I think it's like you do need movement, right? And strength training is so important. And like cardio is the first thing that you think of when you think of fitness. Most people, they do run, and that like running is not bad. I think it's anything to an extreme, right? And I think we take exercise to an extreme, and it's just strength training like 2 or 3 sessions a week with walks in between, or like not compromising sleep to get up and work out. it's just those little things. It's making sure you feel prepared and ready to work out is so important. And I don't even let my clients come to me. I'm like, if you didn't sleep, if you're not feeling 100%, do not show up to me because I will not train you. So it's like, it's just, but again, I used to believe that like, you know, I'd lose sleep. I would set alarms. Like I remember taking a class and it was a 5:30 a.m. And again, I committed to it. So I'm going to show up and I'm going to do it. But I was literally about to vomit. And I was like, I've never experienced this in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like one of those classes where you're just like hustling the whole time. And sure, you like have a surge of, you know, endorphins, all the things at the end, and you feel good. But like over and over and over and over again, it's so bad. And it's just like, it's still such a huge part of the fitness industry too. And part of me hates being a trainer because people automatically assume that's how you are. And I'm like, nope, that's not how I train my girls. And like, most of them have done well balanced. Like most of them know nutrition. Like we're talking other things. It's like therapy pretty much with me. But it's like more, it's just, so it's just like busting through a lot of those myths that people experience and telling that, like, and again, like you said, how you feel should be the dictator of your success. That weight and where you're supposed to be will come.
Yes.
It takes time.
Yes.
But no, I think your story resonates so much. Such a good combo. Thanks. That's your girl, right?
Who it was?
That was Kelsey.
Oh, yay.
But yeah, no, I love your story and I think it's so impactful. And I'm curious, I have a few questions on just the birth control aspect because I personally did not I only had a short window that I had one on it because I was trying to clear my acne up and I was like, oh, it's the only solution. I'm stressed as anything. And I went after college, but it was about 6 months. So I don't think it was a real time where it could really like make it, you know, really affect me in that sense as much. But talk to that a little bit in terms of like what went through your mind when you felt that this was the right decision for you to go off of it, besides obviously wanting to have kids, but let's just say you're not in that stage. Yeah. What would you say to those women, you know, like maybe the health impacts or long term, or, you know, it's scary. I'm sure it's a change and it's, you know, of course that's part of our lives. So it's just like, what would you say to those women?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Because technically when I went off of it, we weren't like, okay, let's start now. It was like, I think we want to start in the next year. So I'll get off of it because I know it does something with hormones. That's literally, I didn't know anything. I'm telling you, nothing. And I still don't know a lot about it. So I'm not going to sit here and like say things because
something I want to learn more about.
That's why you need to go talk to Buns because she knows what's going on. But that's why I was like, okay, let's get off of it because we're married and we want to have kids someday. So I should probably make sure my body knows what to do because you do learn eventually as you just grow up, and probably a lot of, because the internet is so loud. It was like, I feel like I should get off this. So I got off of it. I do have like, you know, I have the privilege of being able to say I don't need it or that I don't want my daughters to go on it because of other resources and because of the way and where I live. Whereas like I want to fully extend like the grace that some people might need it for whatever reasons that I don't really know. So I'm not going to be like, don't get on birth control. But I will say
we're not providing medical advice.
No medical advice or treatments or cures or anything. I would say make sure you're informed and educated on what you're doing to your body, what you're putting in it, and that you have a plan what to do while you're on it or when you come off. Because I think it's just becoming so loud and pretty obvious that it affects your hormones in a negative way for the most part. Because it's shutting off, at least for me, it shut off my hypothalamus, which was sending, you know, that's supposed to send the signals to your body like, hey, make sure that you are getting progesterone or estrogen here and there and making this beautiful balancing act so that you ovulate and then have a period or have a baby. All that was shut off because of the pill. That also can get shut off even if you don't take the pill. That's what undereating and overexercising can do. So I was doing both of them which is just terrible. It's crazy. Um, so I would just say, yeah, make sure you know uh, the effects of it, what's happening, and if you can avoid it, and learn other ways to avoid conception, or I guess whatever the reason is that you're on it, there's probably a root cause that you can dig into, which is hard because root causes take time. And that's also another reason
And they're
why,
confusing.
yeah, a root cause is like, okay, I have acne, so I'm going to just put something on it, or use this really nice lotion, or get on the pill because it'll suppress the symptom of acne, when really it's like, well, maybe it has to do with your gut, or how's your digestion, and how are you ridding of excess toxins and all that, which we don't know yet. And that's what we're about to learn. So
Exactly.
yeah, so don't ask
I
us
mean,
if
I
you.
can speak to acne. Like, I've struggled with acne my entire life. I have one right there. You can see it. And it's like, but it's like I always thought, oh, I'll balance my hormones, I'll be good. You know, I'll get my gut in line, I'll be good. And then that didn't work out. And then I did a food sensitivity test, and I had to give up avocado. And I did for 8 weeks because I was super sensitive to it. And I gave it up, and my skin cleared up like crazy. But then it started breaking out again. And then I started learning about minerals. And so I started taking minerals and like doing more, like diving into that. And like, then I started actually working with like an acne specialist versus a dermatologist. And I was like, okay, again, getting specialized, and finally starting to clear up. But I feel like I actually, all the years of trying, like, here, I'll try medicine, I'll try lotions, I'll try this, like, you have to put all those together. And I feel like I'm finally doing that.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, that was my fault.
Okay, I'm here.
That was my Instagram time for the day. I'm done.
Oh, good for you.
Post and ghost. But yeah, so it's just like it's challenging, and it's very confusing to get to the root cause of things. But I just have to like encourage women to keep digging, right? Like, there is an answer. You'll find the right practitioner to work with, and it's not an overnight process. And
Yeah.
the little things that you feel so frustrating, like, so many women probably can relate to this conversation right now, and they're just sitting there wanting those
That's
answers, and it's so hard.
exactly. I mean, and when you want something like clear skin or a baby, you want it now. Like,
Same thing.
you want it so bad. It's why everyone's season of life and circumstance, it matters to bring that into account, because
Yes.
I feel patient right now in waiting to have another child, where like that might not be good for someone else. And so, yeah, you can get on medication, but like, don't forget that if you just like keep moving life the same and bring in medication and keep moving, it might work. But if you can still implement things from nutritional therapy or how to eat right, that's probably going to maximize that medication.
Right.
Like, even if you change how you eat, and instead of trying to get on Clomid or Provera or Letrozole, it doesn't mean food's going to be your answer. Like, you still might need support. That's why we don't like treat or give medical advice. But that's what I'm excited about, because I fully believe it can maximize that. And really, we just help you and support you in eating so much food and eating the right stuff and balancing it and getting your minerals in check. Just, yeah, it's just such a wide ocean of things doing.
I love it. I love it. And I love that we're approaching it differently. We have every feed, it gives you such new knowledge. And I learned so much from everyone. And
Yeah.
it's going to be awesome. It's
Yes.
awesome.
Yes.
Well, I have one final question.
Okay.
For anyone that's like starting their like, it's really kind of ready to make some changes. Like, if they were to focus on one thing, what would you say it would be? It could be as simple as eating the food, or something bigger.
If you had to eat or focus on one thing, I think I would say stress with your wellness journey. Because I thought stress was just what I felt was stressful in life. Like, when I was working full time and trying to parent, I was so stressed out. When I the house is messy and I feel like I can't get it done. I was so stressed out. Little did I know, not eating the right amounts of something, or not being able to digest well, or not pooping every day, or over exercising, not sleeping. So that's why it's complicated because putting stress on your body can be all those things. And so I think it's kind of like digging into stress and what can be stressing you out and trying to put things in place to help that stress. But then finding someone outside of that to help you realize like what else could be causing your body stress, whether it's like a certain food or the way you're exercising, just so that I feel like that's kind of like a huge root of health and hormone balance and food absorption, all that.
I love it. That's why I have a therapist in this program, because I need the mental health component. And I think people neglect mental health and they think it's like not cool, I guess, in some senses, you know, like it used to not be, but now it's like we need this more than ever. And everything ties together, right? Everything. And so like your serotonin and dopamine are produced in your gut. So if you're going through anxiety or depression, we should probably address that before we, you know, it's all connected. All connected.
It is.
So I love it. Well, tell the audience where they can find you and how they can support you, and then I'll let you have the day back.
Okay. Well, my Instagram handle is at Jess Hodge Wellness. This is the only thing I'm active on, really. I don't have TikTok because I don't have the time for that. And Facebook, I check that like once a month. So that's where you can find me. I have a blog that I started like 4 years ago. It's just so funny. You don't need to go there. Eventually.
You don't need to go there.
I do have good recipes on there, but and a lot of life stuff. But eventually I'm going to revamp that for my nutritional therapy website. So in the meantime, I'm just throwing out content when I find the time and I'm having fun with it. Eventually I'll provide like a free download for something. So just grab that whenever it's done. I don't have a time frame though. So just follow along until it's ready and just enjoy the ride. That's it.
Enjoy the ride. Well, I'm here to support any way we can. Stay tuned for a giveaway from us coming soon too.
Yeah.
We're working on that.
And we graduate in July, so that you can really
really support us. For then you can just ride the ride and learn.
Yeah.
Well, it was awesome to meet you. Hopefully, where do you live again?
North Liberty, Iowa. So
Iowa, nice. I'll have to come visit. Say what?
Do you even know where that is?
Yes.
Okay.
I've been. No, wait, that's the one state I haven't been to. One of the ones I haven't been to.
Wow. It's great.
So that's a good excuse. I can come visit.
Yes.
I have 7 states I haven't been to. That's one of them.
Wow.
So I will come. Only because my dad was a pilot for so long. So anyways, we're going to close this out before Instagram kicks me off again. But love chatting. Have a great day.
You too.
I'll tag you in this video.
Okay. Thanks for everything. Have a good
Of course. You too. Bye.
Bye.